Alright, hope everybody is doing well. I wanted to kind of get back into, this is the second video on Sketchup Basics. It's kind of, I had this up, I was working on this earlier, it's a public art project I was working on. But I wanted to keep working on this series with you guys, showing some of the ways that some of these tools work. I know that some of these programs can be confusing, and I know that if you're like me, I can watch tutorials. Tutorials are great. They have some really cool stuff on there, and hopefully maybe this is a tutorial for some people. Last time we talked about planes a little bit, so looking at the right view when you're working. So this would be like a front plane, and you can see this blue line is here to your left. It goes up and down, and then the red line goes left and right. That shows that you're on what's considered a front plane. This would be a side plane. So now you've got the green in place of the red, and of course the blue because you're still up and down, and then a top plane. So as I showed in the last video, that's a lot of the way to kind of like look at what you're trying to draw so that you don't get lost in 3D, because it's really easy to get lost on 3D screen. So I want to go to some basic tools here, and I want to start up here. We'll see we got all this list of tools up here. So this list of tools can be customized to whatever you want. This list of tools that you see up here, starting from the eraser all the way through, I've put these in order in the way that I use them. So one thing about the tools is if you come up here on the screen and you right click your mouse, you see this little icon comes in, click it out, and if you come up here, you right click down here, it doesn't do it, but if you come up here in this little window, you right click and you see this customize toolbar, it doesn't come up here. So you have to be up in this little gray area up here. So right click it, customize toolbar. So this pops up. So this is a huge array of tools that you can customize your SketchUp experience with. So, a lot of these are pretty basics, but there are some neat ones like the protractor. I use the protractor a lot. The X-ray mode, I use the X-ray mode a lot when I'm building something so I can kind of see something. Selection cuts on layers, I don't use that so much. It's kind of a neat one. But then you get into some of the basics like your shapes, your offset, I use it a lot. Scale, I use it a lot. Follow me, orbit, these are all pretty basic things. But you get some other ones too, and this like walk feature is you can, when you build a model, you can click that and you can get a starting point. It's sort of an advanced tool, but it'll let you kind of like orbit around. It gives you like a little tour. You can also do 3D models where you take photos and move the model, take another photo, move the model, take another photo, move the model. And what you're doing is you're building in an animation. So if you want to give a presentation for somebody, you can just hit play instead of you having to sit there and move the screen around with the mouse. It'll do it on its own. But you can see a lot of these different ones on here. A lot of these are advanced. Intersection, subtraction things. These are kind of advanced ones. Unlock current movie player. This is kind of neat. These are all kind of neat. But I pretty much use the basics, and you'll see when I get if you want to add something to your list, like say you want to add something I don't have on here, make component. All you gotta do is left click it, grab it, and bring it up into your toolbox, and put it up there, and it's there. And you can click down here and be done. And now that make component is in your toolbar. Oh, I know why it's not working, because I don't have a component in here for it to work with. So let's try another one. Let's take this one and bring it down. So if you see, I grabbed it and brought it back down here. It's all left click on the mouse, bring it down. So let's bring in one that maybe would make more sense that'll stay up there. I've got zoom extension. Yeah, so I've got a lot of these on there. So I'll just say if you wanted to bring one of these up there, what don't I have? I don't have this one there. So we'll grab this one, left click again, bring it up, place it in the toolbar, and so you can put it anywhere you want. So what I do with this is I put the stuff I use a lot over here and kind of over here. The stuff in the middle I usually don't use so much, but say I wanted, I'm like, oh, I use this a lot, I want to put it right there. So I put it right there, come over here, click done. Now that 3D tool text is in there. If I want to get rid of this or something else in here, again, I right click on the mouse when I'm inside this gray area, customize toolbar. I'm like, I don't want that, I just pull it back in here. It doesn't remove it from the program, obviously, it just kind of like adds in there. So this is like another one's add location thing. I don't know what that was for. I didn't use that in there. Shadows. Shadows takes a lot of space. It's a cool one, but so this is kind of my main thing, and I like to bring this up because a lot of people don't know about this, and you can adjust things. You can also like, hey, you want to move this around. Like, oh, I don't use this so much. I use this offset a lot. Maybe I should bring this over here. But then my tape measure is something I use quite often. So I usually kind of do a secondary level. So this is my basic drawing on the left side here. And then in the middle, I usually kind of stuff I don't use as much. And then on the right side is stuff I don't really use much at all. Zoom, extend, zoom. I want to move the move over here. I want to move the move over here. I use it fairly often. Dimensions I don't use so much. Pan and orbit, I usually try to keep those two together. So it's really good to organize this upper menu in here so that it makes sense for you to work on it. It cuts down on your working time because you're not looking for stuff quite so much. So, my basic drawing things, I go straight to these all the time. Want to move that around. So, these right here, this is probably what I use the most of right here. Scale, not so much. Offset. Protractor, I probably use it more than whatever. But anyway, kind of get the point. So when you get this set up the way you want it to, and this again is kind of more once you get into using this. But I wanted to bring this up early in the video series because I don't think a lot of people understand this. And sometimes when you open up SketchUp, when you're not on here, you might look up and a lot of these tools are missing, and you might think to yourself, well, this is all I got. These are the only tool options I have, and they're not. So again, you right click in this gray icon up here at the top in your menu, your tool menu, come down to customize toolbar, left click that, and then you're into this menu and you can kind of do whatever you want. So I hope that helps a little bit. It'll enrich in your tool capabilities, and you can kind of like start adjusting them as you go and sort of making your workflow a little bit easier. All right, hope you guys like that video and make it easy. I'm going to do another one here in a few minutes about using some of the tools, but for right now, that toolbar, I wish somebody would have showed that to me way early on, because I thought I only had certain tools for like a year because I just didn't really have anybody to talk to. So all right, have a good day, guys. And